Hey everyone, and good afternoon. My name is Liran Sorani, and I'll be your host for this joint webinar with iThreat. Join us to this exciting journey to discover a new type of digital threats emerging from the alternative social media sources. These threats can become a real risk for people and companies, as you will see later on. So let's meet the experts. Myself, Liran Sorani. I'm running the cyber business unit here at Webs. Next to me, from the hot Israel, Avishai Gulevich, a senior cyber analyst at Webs. And from the other side, our distinguished colleagues from iThreat, somewhere in the East Coast, Ashley Brady, the managing director, and of course, Julia Arminio, a senior manager at the monitoring team. So basically, Webs is a massive web data provider. We collect, then structure and enrich data from thousands of sources, and eventually offer the data via a simple API. The web is a growing medium and already becomes a critical source of information. Here at Webs, we collect data from the open, deep, and dark sources. The data that we provide is optimized for DI, data intelligence solutions, such as digital risk and compliance, brand monitoring, AI, web intelligence, and many more. So let's review some numbers by Webs. The company was founded 6 years ago by Ran Geva and Guy Moore. We have overall more than 45 terabytes of data from the last 10 years of the web, and it continues to grow. We collect in average more than 10 million documents per day. In the cyber specifically, we cover more than 8 active web networks such as Tor, Telegram, or I2P, with more than 500,000 documents per day, where at least 20% out of them are from the alternative social media. Ashley, please.
Thank you so much, Liran. I'm Ashley Brady, the managing director at iThreat. I've been here for the past almost 10 years, and so I've been able to see firsthand the impact of alternative social media on the threat landscape. We're really happy to join today and show how Web's data has helped us provide actionable intelligence to our clients. To tell you a little bit about iThreat, we're an online intelligence company that was founded in 1997. Over the past 20 years, we have worked with hundreds of clients over the course of thousands of investigations to not only find potential threats, but provide analysis related to the who, where, and when the threats that our clients face. We work with our clients to help new emerging threats be detected related to their intellectual property, facilities, brand, people, and products. Our flagship product is Signal Alert. It's an intelligence tool that allows us to intake billions of points of data across various sources and extract only the relevant, actionable information that our clients care about. So to tell you a little bit about our data sources, by using our product Signal Alert, we can intake data from numerous different providers, including Webs, and consolidate it all into a single platform. This allows us to run complex queries across multiple sources, including the dark web, niche, fringe forums, news, and social media, from domains to live streams and pretty much everything in between. If it's on the internet, our analysts are able to monitor it through our system.
Sounds really, really interesting. So, in this webinar, we'll help organizations that are interested in brand protection and VIP protection to better understand how we can identify and monitor radical trends that can become an actual threats. We'll review the background of alternative social networks as the main pillar for such threats. Next, we'll take a deep dive into Web's workflow to understand how we monitor and collect such signals, and then overview how iThreat intelligence solution use these signals and turn them into an actionable insights. Last but not least, we will review a few examples. Elon Musk as the example for VIP protection and Nike for brand protection. In case you have questions, we'll be having a Q&A at the end, so you're more than welcome to stay and ask. I'd like to take a moment and briefly explain the evolution of the alternative social media over the last decade with an emphasis in the radical groups. Alternative social media basically means that it's a peripheral social network that promotes free speech with almost no restrictions. As part of the free speech, there are also hate speech or radical organization, left or right, and some already become a threat. So the first point where the deplatforming occurred was back at 2017, where the US regulatory forced Twitter and Facebook to respect their own terms. For example, Unite the Rally, a white supremacist event that occurred in 2017, was actually blocked the day before in Twitter and Facebook. As a result, some radical organizations left the mainstream socials and migrated to the alternative ones. Next, in 2018, there was the Robert Gregory massacre in Pittsburgh, where 11 people were killed. Before the actual massacre, Robert left his manifesto in one of the free speech platforms. The event was all over the news. Eventually, the event greatly contributed to the popularity of the radical organization and the migration to the alternative social media. Today, we can say that radical organizations such as Britain First or Tommy Robinson gathered more popularity than ever in the alternative social media, and it continues to grow. So let's take a deep dive and understand how webs discover and collect. Please, Avishag.
Hi everyone, I'm Avishag. I'm a senior cyber analyst here at Webs, and I'm really happy to be here today. So in the next following slides, I will address Web's data collection process. Before I actually dive into it, I want to explain a little bit about the challenge we actually face when monitoring alternative social media. So the first challenge we face is to find the relevant data. This actually means that it's really hard to find the relevant data out of the vast, endless amount of content social media has to offer. We see new sites that are emerging all the time, and the data on the actual sites just keep on expanding. The second challenge we face is how dynamic the data is in those social media platforms. We see pages and groups just keep on emerging and opening. We also see shifts of users from site to site. And there are even users that are gaining, losing popularity, and the content is basically ever changing. So we had to develop a method to get to the actual relevant data from those sites and to overcome these challenges. By relevant data, I of course mean illicit content alone. This might be a hate group, for example. So the first step we would do is the topic discovery. And the topic discovery is a thorough research on our subject. We would basically try to find out everything we can about it. The topic discovery will translate to a bank of keywords we would gather about this topic. The second step would be to actually apply this bank of keywords to the actual alternative social media platforms. So we would take those keywords and we would find in those sites a lot of closed groups or trending radical hashtag. Just to connect you a little bit, I can give you an example on a research I did on threats to Bill Gates. I was actually able to locate the hashtag KillGates. So this was only after I did my topic discovery thoroughly. The third step would be to actually take all of these pages I found in my research and start crawling them. Crawling them means basically Webs will provide a structured, normalized, and enriched documents in the form of a JSON format. This way, the data it can be turned into actionable intelligence, and it's really comfortable for analysis for companies like iThreat. Just to give you an example for an enrichment Webs provide, we have an AI learning machine system that gives each post a topic. This can be hacking, for example. So all of this for the company to perform their analysis.
I have a question here.
Yes.
So basically you say that this is a methodology, but is it fully automated? And if not, how it works actually, where it's automated and where it's not? Can you give us like a guidelines?
Sure. So the answer is actually it depends. It really depends on the site. Sometimes we would do.
I think you're a bit incorrect. You should have said a good question, Liran, you know?
So it depends on the site or
Okay.
on the network. Some of our solutions are half automatic, some of them are fully automated, and we can do automatic discovery on some of the platforms. Just to finish off, I want to say that after this entire process is done by us, it's not done. I must say it's a never-ending process. We have to keep monitoring for new trends and make sure we stay on top of the things.
Cool. Thank you very much. Now let's review the iThreat. Come on.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Julia. I'm Senior Manager of Monitoring here at iThreat. So how do we monitor for our clients? This is a very simplified version of the steps we take when a client requests services from us. So the first step that we take is we're going to identify the client's needs. So what do they want us to monitor for? Are we looking for threats against their CEOs, their employees, their facilities, or even intellectual property leaks? Once we have that goal identified, our analysts will write and develop rules using relevant keywords to our clients and the threats that they want us to monitor for. From there, the data we retrieve from these rules are delivered to the client in a written report.
Sounds good.
And why is this work important? So living in the age of social media, it's really important for us to stay on top of threats against high-profile individuals, especially CEOs. It's estimated that 84% of top Fortune 500 CEOs are victims of harassment and hate speech online. This can happen on any type of social media platform, especially alternative social media.
By the way, we did a white paper, I think it was like 1 or 2 years ago, and on the Fortune 500 companies, and to find any kind of illicit content, and the numbers were almost 95, 98%. So
Yes.
for companies, it's even worse.
Yep, it keeps us busy for sure, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's woke. Yeah, come on.
So the first case study we will address today will be around VIP protection use case. And as you all can see, it will revolve around Elon Musk. So let's actually apply the methodology I just discussed in the previous slides and apply it to our case study. So for the sake of this example, I chose to focus on several topics in my topic discovery. The first one is the names. This refers to any name Elon Musk might have, any nickname, any offensive name. This is also including any misspelled names. For example, writing Elon with a 0 instead of an O. The second topic I addressed was hashtags and trending phrases. From my topic discovery, what I was able to find online. Another really important thing is the position description of the CEO. In this example, of course, Elon Musk is the CEO of Tesla, but it's interesting to include because a lot of the times people will address Elon Musk online, but they only would say he's the CEO of Tesla. They would only mention his business title and not his name. At last, I also included here trending events around Elon Musk, for example, Elon and Twitter. If you actually think about it, if you would look up Elon and Twitter as a separate keywords alone, you probably wouldn't get information relevant to our use case. So after I conducted my topic discovery, I'm moving on to mapping out the social media sites, and I was actually able to detect dozens of different pages related to my use case.
So I have a question. In case we have a new hashtag, let's say Elon Musk 21, okay? So how you'll track it, how you'll find it, because these hashtags are evolving pretty fast, and probably you'll not have, a sign before that.
So the secret of an analyst is that I can always
The
look at the
secret sauce.
post. Yeah, I can always look at the post we already crawled. We actually have a really large database of hashtags that just keeps on updating, and I can always go back to that. And of course, I can go to the sites and check over there.
Cool, thanks.
So after I gathered my list of pages, we're actually entering them to the crawling process. These are being structured and enriched and provided to our clients in the form of a JSON format. You can see this clearly in the image below. In the image above, we can see clearly the text of the post. We can see someone here mentioning he wants to kill Elon Musk. Indeed, a really threatening post that was crawled from one of the pages I was able to add.
Elon, if you hear us, be careful, man. Be careful. Okay.
So the user perspective, after data, after Webs has collected the data, our users need to turn it into actionable insights and actionable intelligence, and they do so using advanced queries to pull out and retrieve data from Web's APIs. So here we have a generic VIP protection query template, and I will go over quickly what it consists of. So we have the VIP names, again, any relevant nickname, name, everything we can think of related to the VIP. We have the social hashtags. This actually refers to my topic discovery. Everything I could find, maybe we want to keep track of a new hate group we found or a radical hashtag. The third part is business identifiers. We addressed this before, and we must include the business title of the VIP name. And last but not least, the personal identifiers, the PII of the VIP. This refers to email addresses, phone number, even an IP address. And to tie this entire query together to a threatening content, we would have to add a bank of violent keywords, such as kill or murder.
So if I understand it correctly, except the green one, which probably Webs will provide, all the rest it's like a generic template where each customer fills it in with his own identifiers based on the clients.
I think it's a mutual work. The clients definitely gives us a lot of identifiers, but the social hashtags, in case I provided that service for the client, I might add a lot to this query.
Okay, cool. Back to you.
So this is an example of a rule that we put together to identify threats against Elon Musk. So at the top in red, you can see we have the subject's name, variations of his name, nicknames, any identifier for Elon Musk we would put there, followed by a bank of violent threat keywords. So once this rule is constructed and ready to go live, our system is going to be able to pull out posts across many different sources that contain Elon Musk and any one of these violent keywords.
So what happens if there is a new type of keyword, like a code name for assassination, or even it could be in different languages? What happened then?
Yep. So the beauty of these rules is they could be altered and tweaked as the analyst sees fit. So we can always add, subtract, or change keywords throughout this entire monitoring process.
I see. Okay.
This is an example of a post that we were able to locate using that exact rule set. So as you can see, our system highlighted the subject's name, which in this case is Elon Musk, and then the threat. So this individual was expressing how they would love to murder Elon Musk. And this is an actionable threat against our client, and it will be reported.
I have the feeling that you will have a new client soon.
I hope so. Fingers crossed.
Okay.
So from there, this is what a written report will look like to our client. They can be really long, detailed, or something as simple as this. So they all start with a headline. So the title of the report, the specific user has stated that they want to murder our client, Elon Musk. Underneath that, we have the summary, which is a more detailed explanation of the post that the analyst located. So when it was posted, who said it, where it was posted. And we would also include any other identifiable information in the summary. If the user provided a location or a phone number, stuff like that can also be included there. And then underneath that, we have an entities section. So we can list the specific username and profile of this individual so that if the client needs to reference it in the future, they can do so easily. Also, I just want to point out at the top underneath the headline, our analysts can identify an importance level for our client so that they could see it really quickly. So we can mark them low, medium, high, or urgent. In this case, if someone is threatening our client's life, saying they want to murder them, this is something we would typically mark high or urgent so that the client can see it.
Cool, but let's say I'm the client now and I see it's really urgent. I totally agree and it's high importance, but what are the next steps? What shall I do?
So that will depend on the client. It's different case by case basis. Sometimes our client can issue takedowns to get these profiles removed. We can also provide an investigation into these users further if they wish to get even more information out of these profiles. But again, it all depends on the client and what their needs are.
Okay, cool. Let's go, Nike.
So the second case study we will address today will be around brand protection. The difference between brand protection and VIP protection is that on brand protection, we will be focusing on threats to the brand's physical and digital assets, as opposed to VIP protection, where we are only addressing one single entity. Like Liran said, and like you all can see, we're going to focus on Nike. So I started with my topic discovery. Included Nike names or nicknames. I also looked into hashtags and trending phrases around Nike. I was actually able to locate the hashtag loot Nike. This is a really violent and extreme hashtag we would want to monitor. It means to trash and destroy Nike stores. So after I gathered all of these keywords, including loot Nike, I was able to go to the social media platforms and gather a list of dozens of pages that we then added to our crawling process.
But let's say Nike, it's a big company. It has like subsidiaries, it has an online services, tons of products and services, etc. So you added to the process of the discovery and collection, how it really works?
Yes, definitely. Everything you just said. And this is just a really basic case study for the sake of this presentation, but we would add Nike subsidiaries, Nike parent organization if they have, Nike everything. Supply chain.
If I were you, I would say everything you just said plus more.
Yes.
Just leave a little bit more so we can,
Yes.
add something. Yeah. Okay.
So web crawling collection process, we structure the data we collect into JSON format. You can see it in the image below. In the image above, we can see a little bit clearly the text of the post. We can see someone mentioning Nike should die and burn. Also, the actor attaches the hashtag boycott Nike, which is a really negative hashtag towards Nike. And next to it, we can see a lot of other hashtags, which kind of connects me to the question you asked before, Lian. This is definitely something I would look into. I would look into those hashtags. I would see if they present additional threats to Nike. And at last, our clients would have to pull the data using advanced queries to turn the data to actionable intelligence. Here we have a generic brand protection query template, and it consists of 5 different parts. First one is the company names, again, any name variation. The second part would be the company's digital identifiers. This would include the company domains, all of its subdomains, its email address, its IP address even. And the third part is the company's subsidiaries, but not only subsidiaries. So the companies we can find direct threats to company, but also really indirect threats, but they are still threats and we would still want to monitor them. So we also attach to our query the company's subsidiaries, parent organization, and supply chain. The second part, the next part is including the company's products and services. A lot of the times people will mention the company product, but they won't even say the name Nike. They can say, for example, Air Jordans, but they will refer, it would be a threat to Nike. And the last part would be the company physical assets. In the case of Nike, it would be a store, physical store. And to tie this entire query together to threats, we would have to add a bank of keywords that would tie to threats and present illicit content. For here, I wrote, for example, breach.
Cool, thank you.
So this is an example of a brand infringement rule that we put together for Nike. Our clients that are interested in brand infringement monitoring, they want us to look for images, videos, listings of products or intellectual property that make it online that should not be there. So before an official release. So in this case, we developed a rule for Nike. As you can see in red, we have the company name, and in green, a list of brand infringement keywords. So leaked, leaks, NDA, rumor, expose, stuff like that. In Yellow, we have, these are called negation key terms. So for whatever reason, when our analysts developed this rule, the term Roblox kept coming up, which is an online game. This generated a lot of false positives for our analysts, meaning that a lot of data was coming in, but it was not data that we would report to the client. It was just unnecessary. So when we use the word and not roadblocks, it's going to eliminate this word from showing up in the data set.
I wonder, I believe that this is like one rule, in the case of Nike, but how many rules in average you have per brand or per VIP? Do you have any kind of stats? So, it really depends on the company and the use cases.
Yeah, it depends on the client and what their needs are. We can have 50 to 100 or as little as 5. It would just depend on what they need from us.
Okay, amazing.
So as you saw in the previous slide, with this rule, we were able to identify an image of the 2022 Team USA World Cup jerseys that are manufactured by Nike. So a user was able to locate this image and post it on a forum. This is obviously an image that Nike does not want circulating on the web before these jerseys are worn in real life. So this is what a report would look like for a case like this. The headline, just like the one for Elon Musk, what was posted, where it was posted. The summary, we have when it was posted and what was in the image. So any additional details of what we can provide the client as to what product leaked, where it was located, if the user actually has these jerseys in hand, are they selling them to other individuals? We would want to give them that information there. In the entities section, we obviously provided the username and profile of whoever posted this image. And then we also provided Nike with detailed screenshots of these jerseys on the actual forum, as well as a screenshot of the user's profile in case they need to reference it further.
And again, the same like I asked you in the case of the VIP protection, we have a very important report. So what will be the next action in that case?
So it depends, but a lot of these companies will issue takedowns, meaning that they do not want these images circulating on the web further and will take action to get them removed from the site. This we see kind of often because industry experts have estimated that these pre-launch image leaks can cost them up to $35 billion a year. So it's an issue for a lot of these companies, and they will take action if they see fit.
Cool. Thank you, Julia.
Mm-hmm.
So over the past 3 weeks, we were running these queries related to Nike and Elon Musk. And over that period, over 300,000 data points were brought in on our system from alternative social media, which is an incredible number. We believe in a work-life balance here at iThreat, so we do not make our analysts review all 300,000 of those posts. So we are kind enough to write queries that are going to bring this information from that massive number down to just under 14,000 alert signals that match the queries that we had put together for Nike and Elon Musk. Our analysts then reviewed each and every one of those alerts, and from there found 88 real alerts, which we were able to deem reportable and actionable threats. So we were able to take that 300,000, which is again a massive number, and by running these queries through it, bring it down to just 5% of that. And then from there was 88 real things that we would have, if Nike or Elon Musk were our clients, we would have passed along. So these numbers not only show the huge amount of data that is coming from these alternative social media networks, but also the importance of writing thoughtful queries so that you can truly find that needle in a haystack.
It's amazing. So actually the real work was done here, if I understand you correctly, Ashley, all the rules and the logic and of course the technologies that you have, which actually reduced the signals into these 88 real alerts?
Absolutely. So yeah, but those are the queries in that middle section that really bring it down to a manageable number, because obviously if you're reviewing so much information, things get lost in the queue. So we bring it down to a manageable number so that our analysts can really focus on what is important, what our clients care about, and really nail down that those real threats.
Amazing. Okay, guys, we are almost at the end, one step, and we have now a Q&A. So dear audience, feel free to ask any question. We are waiting. So I have the first question. What other dark web networks are you covering? I'll take this one. So basically we have a classification for 3 types of networks. We have the anonymous networks, networks like I2P, ZeroNet, and Tor. We have the chat applications like Telegram. There are a lot of cyber criminal activity over there. In the recent few years, it's even increased. And we have all the open web, which we can divide into 2, the deep web, which requires a login, and it's much more sensitive, let's say, a lot of hacker forums like Null or Void, Cracked, etc. And from the other hand, we have the alternative social media. It's all under the same open web. Let's see, another question here. I think it's for iThreat. Are there any difference between monitoring mainstream and alternative social media?
I wouldn't say there are many differences as far as the monitoring, because ultimately when we write these queries, they're all text-based. So we're looking for any sort of keyword, whether or not it's on a mainstream social media network or an alternative, anything that hits those keywords and creating those sort of queries, it's all the same. But what we do find is the topic discovery, as Avishag have went through, is a bit different with alternative social media. There's a lot more slang, a lot more colloquial language that we have to become more familiar with, that our analysts kind of need to learn about those groups in order to find the best keywords, draft the best sort of query so that we can really find the data that our clients care about.
I see. I think we have a common question regarding security, so I'll ask it and probably Ashley will both answer it. So the question is, you obviously need to collect sensitive information from your clients in order to effectively perform your searches. How do you secure this data? So basically, if we take it to the collection side, we have a secured API, and we store the data under some standards, security standards. We have a secured private cloud. This is on our side. Ashley, you want to add something?
Yeah, our system is pretty similar. The system itself is secure where we run all our queries. We also uphold to any sort of security standards that our clients have. So when we have to send reports on this sort of information that contains PII, we usually send it through encrypted emails or any other places where we can password protect to make sure that not only are we keeping the client information safe, but we're upholding the security standards on both ends.
Cool, thank you. I see here another one. I think it's for us. What do you think will be the future of alternative social media? What's the next platform radical organization will turn to? So probably I'm not a prophet, but anyway, we can see a few examples that eventually there is a migration of the radical organization into different types of alternative social media. We can say that we see more close communities, and it's even geographically classified. Let's take the latest one from March 22 by Donald Trump, truth.social. This is one, and there are many more. So I believe that we'll see more and more close communities, which means that to find different types of radical organization among all the free speech will be much more challenging. Well, I think we are at the end of the Q&A. So we have come to the end of this webinar. I would like to thank everyone for your questions and the panelists for the insights they shared with us today. You will receive an email containing a link to the recording of this webinar so that you can you can watch it again in later time or share it with someone who might be interested. Thank you, dear Ashley. Thank you, Julia. And of course, thank you, Avishag. And thank you, of course, lovely audience, for your attention, and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.